You also worked with a lot of fast growing company, both from an external growth standpoint, as well as internally fixing their operations. So from your experience, having worked front and center in these companies, what have you seen some of the biggest bottlenecks for growth that businesses face?
I have not yet come across a scenario where there isn't a person blocking growth in a company. Almost always in leadership somewhere. And sometimes in partnership scenarios, sometimes just somewhere in leadership, sometimes somewhere in the C-suite. But anytime we're doing our discovery and due diligence and we're uncovering things, businesses are people, right? We're made up of people. People execute the processes. People even put in the automation in place. But people create the strategies and decide if we're executing on things or not. And there is almost always one person in a company. Mm-hmm. And if you are that person, they're probably not your audience. There's almost always a person who is the one anti-growth. They don't want the disruption. They don't like the risk of change. Mm-hmm. This is the way it's done, which to me is a 4-letter word phrase. But yeah, that is probably the biggest thing, is there's almost always a person in the way. And I was telling you this before we started officially, that there is, in my growth planner that I've created for my clients, there is a strategic action planning portion of that in the beginning. But something that I do different is at the end of mine, I have something that's called a Turn Fear into Power worksheet, which is also a workshop that I do for the nonprofits and the teenage girls and groups and such. But this one is the psychology that I learned the beginning of when I was 14 to 16 through that Tony Robbins Personal Power CD set. And that took me down a rabbit hole I didn't realize I would use to this day. Mm-hmm. Because if you have a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal, as in our entrepreneur world we call it, if you have one of those, if fear truly is our most powerful motivator, we could want something as mm-hmm. much as we want. But if we have fear against it, we're not going to do it. We'll keep getting in our own way. We'll keep procrastinating. We'll keep finding an excuse. We'll keep something else is more pressing and more time, more this. You'll get to a certain point and always somehow don't know why it's not being completed. Because fear is not always the big scary thing. Fear is what if. Fear is anxiety. Fear is procrastination. Fear is all those other little nuanced things that mm-hmm. we get in our own way. So what I do in a company to help solve for that, if I know people are the issue, right? We are the issue. We are the problem. That Taylor Swift song, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me, right? If you're going to fail, you're probably the issue. If I am not going to succeed, if I'm handling all the things I can handle, there's circumstantial stuff, there's COVID that happens, there's things like that. But also, to play devil's advocate to that, yes, there's all these things that happen, but when are the most billionaires made and millionaires made? In the worst economy times, in the worst situations, the people who know how to do things. I launched my company at the precipice of the pandemic. But I was telling you before all of this that the thing that a lot of motivational speakers, pep talk people get wrong when it comes to overcoming fear is they just tell you to push through it. Deny your fear, push through. You can do this. Don't let fear power you. Just push. Look at the goal, visualize, do all these things, and then you'll just get it. That's only a piece of it. If you truly want to rewire and reassociate, our brains are phenomenal things. The scientific term is neuroplasticity. We can actually rewire all of this amazingness up here and take that pill like in that movie and open it all up, right? We can do things and reassociate triggers. And I am someone with my past that I held every trigger. I had the physical triggers, the sound triggers, all of them, the taste triggers. So when I heard this on an original Tony Robbins CD, I listened to that CD on repeat for about a month before I moved forward because I needed it. I required it to function as a human. And it's a rabbit hole that I never came out of that I had no clue would be this powerful in business. Because how many times do you hear in professional athletes to entrepreneurship and motivators that it's a mind game, right? Yes, we need strategy. Yes, we need processes. Yes, we need systems. Yes, we need to know the tools and do all these things. But if we're effed up here, if we're in the way, nothing's going to happen.